Welcome to another video yet again. So you can see on my last upload, I called out ticker TAIT at $2.21. Now, if we pull up the chart, you can see this one ran from $2.20 all the way to $5.10 at the peak for a massive 135% plus gainer. So drop a quick like for me on this video if you are enjoying this content, and make sure you have that notification bell turned on for these videos because these plays are extremely urgent. I'm going to be talking about a brand new stock that I've never covered on this channel before. So this is a stock trading around $1.50 per share. It does have a tiny 3 million share float. You know, micro floats have been very hot in the small cap market, especially today. We have multiple 100% runners that are micro floater type plays. And this is a company that just reported their best quarter in terms of profitability that they've had in at least the last year, maybe even years, but at least in the last 5 quarters. And just a few weeks ago, they did actually have an acquisition that is expected to further boost their numbers as well as make them more profitable. So this is a company that looks to be firing on all cylinders and has a ton of opportunity. The stock I'm talking about for this video is ticker RMCF, Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory Inc., currently trading around $1.50 per share. So this is a company that just reported some really nice financials compared to the last few quarters. So you can see you always add 3 zeros to these numbers, but for their most recent quarter, ending on 5/31/2025, you can see they did $6.4 million in total revenue, and they only lost $324,000, which makes it their most profitable quarter in terms of net income that they have had in an extremely long time. So you can see they lost $2.9 million the previous quarter. Before that one, lost $800,000. Before that, lost around $700,000. So, you know, they had a really nice marginal quarter most recently, and revenue was down. But if you compare this to the same period last year, they did a similar amount of revenue for the same quarter 1 year ago and actually improved profitability very aggressively. So this company is a leading franchisor of premium chocolate and a confectionery retail store concept. So they have been producing an extensive line of premium chocolates and other confectionery products, including gourmet caramel apples, since 1981. So they've been doing this for a very long time. They are headquartered in Colorado. They go on to say that the company and its franchisees and their licensees operate over 250 Rocky Mountain chocolate stores across the United States with several international locations. So exactly 1 month ago, on August 19th, they did acquire a long-standing Camarillo, California store for their company-owned portfolio. So the CEO of RMCF does go on to say that this acquisition not only reflects the enduring appeal of their products in one of America's most affluent communities, but also advances their strategy of operating select stores where they can continue to innovate, implement retail best practices, and this is pretty big, guys, further strengthen their profitability. So they think this location can further strengthen their revenue numbers and profitability, which is, you know, really nice to see, especially as they just had, you know, like I said, one of their most profitable quarters in a very long time. So they are doing around $30 million in total revenue every single year. And they are just continuing to improve their margins. So it looks like with the seasonality of their business being in the chocolate industry, that the second half of the year is historically when they do put up the most numbers. Just looking at this, it looks like that is what's going on. Looking at their most previous quarters and just considering that they just recently acquired another store, things are looking really good for RMCF. So recently, they did actually upgrade their executive management. So just around 2 months ago, they did recruit a new vice president of operations. So this is a seasoned operations executive with more than 30 years of experience leading large-scale manufacturing and distribution operations. So that's a really nice add to their management team. So earlier in the year, Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory appointed Brian Quinn to its board of directors. Now, Mr. Quinn is an accomplished business leader with extensive experience in brand development, franchise expansion, and operational strategy. So he currently serves as the Chief Development Officer of Sonesta International Hotels, where he has been instrumental in the company's rapid transformation, driving a strategic growth plan that expanded its footprint from less than 100 locations to over 1,000 1,000 locations, which is absolutely insane. He also played a key role in the $100 million acquisition of Red Lion Hotel Corporation, successfully launching 9 new brands and resurrecting 8 existing brands while leading Sonesa's first ever North American franchising initiatives. So his expertise in franchising market expansion is closely aligned with RMCF's long-term vision to bolster its brand presence and invigorate franchise store growth through strategic expansion. So it looks like this was an extremely high-profile recruitment. So if he can bring a hotel business from 100 locations to over 1,000 locations, just imagine how much he can expand RMCF's business. So just looking at their most recent PRs, you can see that this is already taking place because, exactly 3 months ago, Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory launches their first fully redesigned store in Charleston, South Carolina. So this new location opened up to the public on June 3rd, 2025, marking the company's first presence in this state and signaling the beginning of a nationwide transformation of the Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory brand. So, it looks like Brian Quinn is absolutely helping RMCF completely revolutionize their business as well as expand very aggressively nationwide. So in this PR, they said that this opening is part of a sweeping national rebrand effort by Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory that will refresh nearly 150 locations across the United States, in addition to nearly 100 co-branded stores with Cold Stone Creamery. The transformation also extends RMCF's e-commerce channels, which will soon relaunch with a redesigned website, updated imagery, and a cohesive new brand message. So those are also some major upcoming catalysts. And if you look on the most recent PR from 27 days ago, where they acquired the Camarillo, California store, they do say later on in this PR that RMCF intends to leverage its company-owned stores to launch new products, refine customer experiences, and create operational excellence that benefits the broader franchise system. The company is focused on selectively expanding its retail footprint in Southern California and other attractive markets. Everything is lining up for RMCF as, like I keep saying, just had one of their best quarters in history, and all of these improvements should just add to their numbers and as well as to their profitability. Looking on the chart, you can see that this one is currently trading at $1.55 or $1.54, and the market cap is only sitting at $12 million. So a very small $12 million valuation, and they are very close to becoming profitable if they continue to make these improvements. So the 52-week high is $3.50, 52-week low is $1.12. Average volume over the last 3 months is only 40,000 shares. So whenever volume comes in, it will have some very nice relative volume. And looking at the free float is sitting at 5.5 million shares. But looking on Dilution Tracker, it is saying that the free float is sitting at 3.4 million shares. So this is probably more accurate, but just a very small float. It is saying they are cash flow positive. They were, at least for the most recent quarter, and according to Dilution Tracker. So they have no dilution filings right now. They haven't diluted any shares since the end of 2024, and that was really the only money they've raised since they went public, I believe, or at least just according to the history right here. Since 2016, they have had very minimal dilution. Now, have they actually had a reverse stock split? We're going to look that up. It looks like they have never had a reverse stock split in history, which is extremely rare for a small cap play. Most of these are diluting heavily and doing reverse stock splits and just repeating this cycle over and over. So going back to the chart, guys, if you actually zoom out on the weekly time frame, you can see that we are on the verge of having a historical downtrend break. You can see this one has been in a downtrend since it was trading at $10 per share. So in 2021, this one actually ran from $2.50 all the way to $10 plus. Ever since that happened, this one, it has had some spikes along the way, but just has been in a very long downtrend, making lower highs and lower lows. So if we do actually break out of this downtrend, that would be basically a multi-year downtrend break on the weekly time frame, which would be extremely bullish. You can see the MACD is actually trying to switch over, or did recently switch over on the histogram down here. Going back to the daily time frame, you can see the next biggest resistance levels after this 50-day moving average, as well as the 200-day, would be around $1.90 and then $2.25. So those are some key levels to break and hold over. I am pretty sure when volume comes in, this one can bust over these moving averages. But something to realize is that penny stocks are extremely high risk plays, and you always need to do your own research before looking at these, like I always say. And I'm not a financial advisor. So let me know in the comments what other plays you're watching, what you think of this play, and I will see you on the next video.